I was away for a little longer than I intended to be this time. I was studying for a Japanese test that I ended up taking last week, so I had to go to the mainland and take that. And I'm also working on a really big project right now that is very exciting. It's my own pattern. So in the meantime, I thought that I should finish up all of the whips that I have going on right now. And actually before that, I have a little announcement, and that is I learned how to knit. When I was on the mainland, I bought some knitting needles, and one night at the hotel, I just YouTubed it on my phone, and I spent like 3 hours casting on and trying to figure it out and unraveling it, frogging it, and just redoing it. And I just kind of blacked out. Like, I'm not sure exactly how I learned it. I just focused on the video very hard, and by the end of that night, I was like, I know how to do this. Like, it's not hard anymore to figure out exactly the steps that I need to do. Of course, there's a lot of mistakes that I was making and still occasionally make, but so over the last week while I was studying for my Japanese test and doing all that, I learned how to knit. So that's something I'm very excited to add to my skills, because I always think in my head, like, I thought it would be cool to mix knitting with crochet, and I've seen it online quite a bit, and I know it's a very popular thing to do for like a really opaque piece of clothing. I just think it would be so nice to be able to knit it if I wanted to, so that there would really be no holes or anything that is like open stitch, so that I could have like a solid piece of fabric that is also a little bit thinner. But let me show you this little thing that I made. This is the very first thing that I ever knitted. This part is stockinette stitch. This is the only stitch that I know how to do at the moment, and it's the one that I most wanted to do because it's so versatile. I think it looks so cute on clothing, and it could just be used for anything that I want, and I think it's simple. So that was the first stitch that I decided to learn. And this part here is actually crochet along the edges, and then I just added some buttons, and you can actually take this off, but it's connected on the bottom, and then there's 2 buttons here. So yeah, I made a little mug sweater. I've been wanting to make one of these for a while, but I didn't expect that it would be knit. I thought I would crochet one. So I'm so excited to be able to crochet and knit, and to be able to mix those together. I realized with knitting that I have a very specific type of yarn that is actually way easier for me to use, and that is this kind of like rope-like cotton, like recycled cotton yarn. And let me show you what I'm talking about. Do you see the texture of this right here? It is not fuzzy or like how you would expect a lot of other yarns to be. It's actually quite rope-like, and it stays in one strand. And it's pretty, like, it's got like a tough texture. It's very sturdy, and you can really see when you're making stitches, you can really see any mistakes that you've made or anything you've done wrong. And so that is why I have been using this type of yarn for knitting. I tried wool yarn, and it was just a little bit too fuzzy for me, and it was a little bit too stretchy, so I was having a harder time finding the mistakes. But once I switched over to this is just like a cheap recycled cotton yarn, I could see everything that I'm doing, and it's just easier to fix my mistakes and to catch things that I'm doing wrong. So this is what I've been using. If you're having a hard time seeing the stitches while you're crocheting, this would also be really nice for that. Let me get into the first whip that I have started. So when I got back home, I started on this whip right here. I've gotten a fair amount done so far. This is also a stockinette stitch. You can see the front, and then here's the back. You can see how the stitching looks very different. This side's cuter, but the back also is quite interesting looking, I feel. I want to make just like a cute top, and I don't have much yarn. I just have a little bit of yarn. It might be a halter top, it might be a cropped top or something like that, but something that I can just complete as like a knitted garment. But it's actually going to be, the band is going to be knitted, and then I'm going to take these off the needles and I'm gonna crochet the rest. Let me show you some sketches I made. Last night I just made some cute little sketches because I wanted to get some ideas out there. I thought maybe this, you know, this could be the knitted part here, and then the top could maybe do 2 granny squares, or granny triangles, and then this one is just like if I made 3 granny squares across the bust area, and this is like an idea of how maybe I could make the back of it. And these are just some ideas. I don't know exactly how I'm gonna make this or how I'm gonna finish this piece up, but that is my first whip that I'm gonna be working on, is this half crochet, half knitted piece. So I am excited to see how this goes, and I think it'll be different from anything that I've ever made before. I've never made something that really shows a lot of skin or is kind of that almost like festival top style. So I'm excited to be venturing into that. And so that's one of my whips I'm going to be doing. The next whip that I'm going to be working on is I made a bunch of granny squares. They are all of the same color scheme, but there is like 12 of them, I believe. I cannot pick them up without dropping them, but yeah, there's a ton of these, and I'm just gonna make like a big scarf. I'm gonna sew them all together or crochet them all together and make this big long winter scarf in the middle of summer, and literally one of the hottest months of the year. I got a little bit into granny squares one day. I just thought, why not just, I don't really know what I want to do right now, so let me just make a bunch of granny squares. So this should be a very easy to finish up and satisfying, and I think pretty fun. I also have some pom-poms. I'm going to put a pom-pom at the end of each side of this scarf. So when I'm done with this, it'll be like a really nice, long and warm winter scarf. And I just think it will be so adorable to style in the winter, but I will not be able to wear this for a while. So that is the other thing I'm gonna be working on. And there's something that I forgot to mention about the first top that I'm gonna be making. It's actually matching my purse that I made. I got the exact same yarn that would match it perfectly. So I just think, how cute would it be to have this purse with a cute little top to match it. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And actually this yarn was very affordable. I bought this at Daiso. These were like $1 per skein for these recycled cotton yarn skeins. So I think that it will all come together really cute, and I can style it together. And also, before I get started, I really want to show you these cool magazines that I got while I was on the mainland. I'm not going to show a ton of it, but so I have this magazine that I got. This is about crocheted lace, and it has such a beautiful layout. The photography on it is just exactly the kind of style that I love. Just in general, I love the Gothic sort of Victorian style. Let me just show you a few pages. It shows you how to make all of these things. Now, the instructions are quite, I wouldn't say intimidating, maybe a little intimidating, maybe just something that I could see as being a challenge. But let me give you an example of what it looks like. So they're all just these crocheted charts, and on some of them I do believe they have full instructions. It has a little bit in the back about crochet basics, which I think is really cool, and the illustrations are quite nice. But I love the pictures that they took for these, how easy it is to see the stitches and everything. I just think this is a great book, and especially if you want inspiration. It's really inspiring to me because I love the style of this. So that's the first one that I got. And the next one that I got is this kind of fashion crocheted book, and it shows you how to make everything in this as well, and the exact yarn that they used. But this girl has, like, I love the style, the way that she chooses to style the crochet pieces. And in the back, I'm like, I actually wear outfits like this like often. I wear a hat and maybe a crocheted top and then a long skirt. I think that's so cute, and this is like my exact style sometimes in the summertime. So I love it. And let me show you a little bit of the inside here. Here's a lot of the pieces that you can make. And then this one has very detailed instructions and also great photography. Take a look at this, for example. I definitely think I would be able to follow this with no problem. Of course, it's all in Japanese, so I would be needing to translate everything, but I think that I'm at a point where I should be able to follow this easily enough. And it looks like there's actually QR code YouTube links, so it might even be something I could follow on YouTube, which would be fun to check out. But yeah, I got some crocheted magazines that I'm so excited to get into, and most likely I will make something from one of these magazines and take you along with me and make a video about it. That's gonna be pretty fun. So I'm gonna get started here soon, and I believe that's everything I'm gonna be working on this time, so let's get started. So starting off, I continued working on that first panel and working up that stockinette stitch that I had began. This is about the speed that I knit at right now. Sometimes I can get into a bit of a flow and go a little bit faster, but this is where I'm at right now. I really like the knit stitch. I think that I'm a little bit faster at that than I am at purling. And here is what it was looking like. Right here is when I started casting off that first panel. I cut the yarn and tightened the knot. And the next thing that I did was put a single crochet stitch into every stitch of the raw edge of that first panel. And it was a little bit hard at times to see the next stitch to go into because it's not necessarily perfectly clear which is the next one, but I just did the best I could. I put it wherever it seemed like made the most sense, and I didn't stress too much about that. I figured I would have however many stitches that I had and just go from there. And I believe it ended up being about 64 stitches. And they turned out looking pretty nicely spaced apart. They didn't look like I was missing anything, so I continued on with building this out, and I started making a half double crochet stitch on top of that just to give it a little more length, to make it a little bit longer before going in with any more intricate stuff I wanted to do. And once I had that layer of single crochet stitch laid down, the half double crochet was easy peasy. After that, I worked on a scallop edge. I just kind of freehanded it. I did 6 stitches and I skipped 3, and every 4th stitch I did a single crochet into that. So I had to count each stitch and make sure that I was doing the math correctly. And this is the last part of that scalloped edge that I was finishing up in the last single crochet. And here's what it was looking like. It had a very cute look to it, but I wanted it to have more of an ornateness to it, so I decided to go back and add more stitching along the edges of it. So I went through and I went inside of every single one of those stitches and made a single crochet, except for the very middle I made a picot. I had done this only once before, so I remembered how to do it because I did it recently. And because there were 6 stitches in each of these little loops, there wasn't like a clear place to add in these stitches, so I just eyeballed it to do my best to center it up. Normally you would do this with 5 stitches instead of 6. And so I'm just continuing along the edge there. And here is where I finished it up. I cut the yarn, and look how much different that looks when you just add a few more stitches onto the edging. It just gives it kind of like an elegant look, and I was really happy with that. Right along the top here, that's where I cast it off, and I needed to count every single one of those cast off stitches in order to make a second panel to know how many I needed to cast on for the next panel. And this is me casting on for the next panel. Again, it was about 74 stitches, so I just added 74 stitches onto the knitting needle, and then I just continued on working the second panel in the exact same way that I made the first one. So I finally finished up 2 panels of this design, and I was going to have it just go all around my body, like right here. I was gonna just have it wrap all the way around and just have a front panel and a back panel. But I did kind of mess up at some point with measuring because I realized that these are way too big and it would be baggier than what I really would like it to be. So I decided to kind of pivot the design, and I thought I overlapped these 2 things. And now this is not where it's going to be on my body, but I just want to show you what it looks like when I overlap these fabrics. I felt like that looked so pretty. And so because it's not going to work for a front and a back panel, I thought, what if I have a double layered panel and I have it in the same spot? So it would cover a little bit more of the front, and I would have it like this. Hold on, I'll probably have to sit up a little bit to show you. So it'd be like this. I think that would be super cute. I've never made a top like this before or anything like this before, but I'm down to try it. And if I do it like this, I have a plan, and that is For the boob area, I have these cups that I got out of a bra that I no longer use, and so I thought I could just make something. I don't know if I want to do like a granny triangle sort of situation to cover these up, but I want it to kind of have that bikini shape and attach it to this and have it be kind of like a bikini style halter, and I think that would work really well for this design. I think it would be super cute. But I've never done anything like this, so I don't know if it's going to be like a granny square or just a granny stitch, or if I'm going to find some kind of triangle crochet pattern that just fits better for what I'm looking for. So I'm going to do a little bit of research. I think probably maybe the next thing I'll do is make the cups for these, and then once I have all of the elements created, I can attach them all together and just see how it looks all together. Now, this is how much yarn I have left. I have this skein, I have what's left of this green, and then I have a little extra from the stuff that I was knitting. I'm not looking to make a ton more, but I don't actually know. I have some backups that I could use if I do run out, because I do have more of a different type of yarn of this green color. Let me show you. So I have this yarn. It's like literally the same color. It's just made of wool instead of made of cotton. So it looks different when you look at it, but honestly, I don't think that it would make a big difference as far as the aesthetic of the whole thing. And I actually made a bandana similar to this where I mixed cotton with wool, and you really cannot tell the difference here. And this is again the exact same colors, so I might have to style this all together at the very end. But so I ran out of this cotton blue yarn, and I had this, I think this is wool blue yarn, and at a distance you really can't tell the difference. So I think it'll be okay. I think that I will have enough to make what I need to make, and I'm really excited to wrap this up today. Yesterday, I actually had to do a lot of yard work. Our yard has gotten crazy out of control, and our dog has had a hard time like going out there and roaming around. So my husband and I it took a lot longer than we thought it would. So after all that was done, I came back, I was exhausted. But last night, I basically just yesterday did this entire second panel because I was determined to get a second panel done so that I could move on to this next part. The plan for today is to finish up this top. And if I have time after that, maybe I can also get around to making the scarf as well. I think that's going to be really easy and smooth, but we'll see how that goes. I can tell slight differences between the first and the second panel that I made, and I think it's because I was really getting used to knitting and getting used to just this type of yarn whenever I was making the second panel, and I can tell that I did a better job and it looks a little bit neater. But honestly, when you overlap them, I don't really feel like you can tell. I think that they look pretty close to each other. They look pretty similar. So I think it'll be fine. And this is my very first ever knitted garment. Like, it's mixed with knit and crochet, but it's like my first ever. So I am gonna go easy on myself, and I'm just gonna be proud of whatever I come up with here. I think the style of this, like the vibe, is going to be similar to what I had originally planned, so I'm happy with that. I'm just very inspired by fantasy style clothing and that style of garments, and I don't know if I'm just using the word fantasy broadly, but like I could see this being on like an elf or just like an elven fairy type character or something. I think that's something that I'm excited about too, is being able to take those inspirations that I have and actually be able to create something that I feel like it's the vibe that I was really going for. If you see the vision that I'm seeing, let me know in the comments if you also feel like this is kind of like elven or fairy looking.
So not this first stitch, but this second stitch right here, I'm going to insert my hook. And I'm going to do a single crochet. So I'm going to yarn over,
So after watching the tutorial for these cups and following along for a little bit, I understood what the pattern was. So I was able to just continue on, put on like a podcast and just work through it without having to keep checking in on it. It was just a big arch with however many stitches you needed to add into it, and you just went back and forth until it was a size that you wanted it to be. And you can see that it was really starting to have a good shape to it at this point. I just had to hop on here real quick because the construction of this bralette has been like the smoothest process that I've ever had, creating something new that I've never done before, and I just didn't know how to do it. I didn't know what the process would be like, and I've never had such an easy time. I didn't have to really frog much at all, and I'm putting it up to myself and I'm like, it's shaped just like a bra. Like, I have it up to my cup here, and I'm like, it even has this contoured sort of thing, and I'm so happy with it. I'm thinking it's looking really nice when I put it up against my other stuff. So, and I put it up here, I'm like, the sizing is turning out great. So I'm gonna also go ahead and link the tutorial that I am using for creating these like bra cups, because it's so versatile. If you want to make your own clothing, you want to make your own patterns, or just bras, you can use this tutorial, and I think you'll have a very easy time. It's coming along so smoothly. I just had to let you know. And this cotton is it's a very thick cotton, so I don't know, I might be able to get away without like layering this behind it. I might be fine without using this, because it honestly might add unnecessary bulk to have this cup. This is very thick. So I'm gonna finish this one up, and I'm gonna make bra cup number 2, and I will meet you back there when I have all of those pieces done. So for both cups, I decided on the very last round to switch to the green yarn and just do it in that yarn so that it had a green border around the top of it. And this is all done in single crochet stitch. And they both looked pretty good, and I laid everything out on top of each other exactly where I wanted it to be, just to get an idea of what it might look like. And here is where I threaded the yarn through a tapestry needle, and I connected the top and the bottom layers. And I had to be really careful where I was putting the stitches so that they would line up perfectly and it wouldn't look crooked or anything. Once I connected the top and the bottom layers of this shirt, I looked at it and I liked it, but I noticed that it had a slight bump on the top part of it, and that was something that bothered me just enough to fix it. So I decided to go ahead and just pull the whole thing apart again and just redo that part, because I did not want that bump to be there. I knew that I could fix it easily. So I'm taking that all apart again and re-sewing the layers together in a way that they're not overlapping so much and there wouldn't be like a bump there anymore. I was much happier with how this looked. It was a lot flatter, and so I was ready to move on to the next part. That part was putting a single crochet stitch in the green yarn at the very top of both of these layers, and then continuing on to make a strap. It is so hot outside right now. I just got back in from getting my dog outside after working, and so I'm a little bit tired, but I did a lot of work last night, and let me show you how it looks right now. I had originally connected these two panels together, and there was kind of like a bump in the back. Like whenever I would put it up to myself, it would have like a bump on the top part, and I didn't like it, so I just took it apart and I redid it, and I'm liking the way this is draping a lot better. It's a lot more flat, so I think that's cute. And last night I went ahead and I made a single crochet border across the top here. I am doing like a strap off of that. So this is where I'm at right now. I have this, which is going to be right here. I don't know if you can see, and these two things that will be the top part, and I just need to make the straps and attach it all together. And I'm honestly I didn't think ahead to how exactly I would attach everything. I'm not really sure what to do about that, like how it will look. Maybe I'll get a little bit of inspiration before going ahead and doing that. It feels like this week the universe has just been throwing so much stuff at me to make it hard for me to just really focus in and just spend a lot of hours on this at once. So basically, if I have time, if I have free time, this is what I'm doing, because I still have quite a few things to finish. Right now it's Tuesday, and I want to finish all of this up by Friday at the very latest, so I gotta get moving. So tonight the goal is to finish up this whole top. So that's what I'm gonna be working on. I just need to cool down. I'm really liking it so far. It feels really summery. I just have no idea how it's gonna look when I actually put it on, if it will look nice or if it will look like something just kind of sloppy. I'm not sure, but we'll give it a try. And the way that I made these straps is I just continued off the edge of the top of this, and I continued chaining and then went back through and put a single crochet stitch into every one of those chains. And I just kind of had to wing it as far as like how long I wanted it to be. I just took an estimate of how long it needed to be in order to tie around my back. After doing the first strap, I came back through with a single crochet again on the very top and then made the second strap. And then I needed to add a single crochet border also to the bottom of both of those cups. And once it was finished up connecting, I put it up to myself, I liked it, and so I finished off the rest of the straps. And then it was finished, and this is just my very first try on, so you're gonna have to wait until the reveal to see what it looks like styled. And this was late at night as well when I finished it, so the lighting wasn't great, so definitely stick around to the end of this video to see the real reveal. So I finished up the shirt, as you saw, and I am really happy with it, but you'll have to wait for the reveal to see how I style it. I'm excited to film that. I think that'll be really fun. But anyways, on to the next part, and that is, the next thing I'm gonna do is make the scarf that I've been putting off a little bit, but I just have a lot of granny squares. I need to weave in the ends. I need to add a black border to everything and connect all of it. So that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, the black border around all of them is just another layer of the granny square. I didn't do it like an extra stitch around the edge. I just made a black layer to end all of them off. And then I wove all of the ends in, and I started playing around with the placement of all of the squares, of where exactly I wanted them to line up, and I wanted no two of them to be the exact same in a row, so I just tried to mix it up really nicely. And I counted them again, there's exactly 12. And this is me sewing all of the granny squares together. I just went into the back loop of all of the granny squares, and here's what that was looking like. I liked how they were sitting pretty flat, so to finish it off, I just did a few decreasing layers of double crochet stitches on both sides of the scarf, and then added the pom-poms. And now that everything is finished, it is time for the reveal. You can hear my dog clacking around a little bit. She just has her bone here, and she's crunching it right underneath of me, of course. But I am extremely happy with how this piece came out. This half knitted, half crocheted, kind of almost like bathing suit halter bikini sort of thing. I couldn't be happier with the way that it looks. And I'm just like, I'm proud of myself. I'm impressed with myself. And the goal wasn't necessarily that it has to be perfect. Like, no piece is ever perfect, but basically it looks cuter than I thought it was going to look. I kind of wasn't sure what it would be like because it's my very first thing that I've ever knitted. I mean, I knitted that little mug sweater thing, but I'm really happy with it, and I'm gonna be wearing this a lot. And I also feel like at every point of designing this shirt, I wasn't really knowing what I was doing. I was just kind of taking it as I go and thinking about the best way to alter it from that point. And I didn't think it would look this way with this design, how it's got this two-tiered thing. That was kind of a mistake and kind of like a little happy accident. It's not super thin, it's pretty thick, but I think that's okay. Like, it doesn't feel like it's weighing me down or like it's too heavy. And it almost does feel like a bathing suit in a way. Like, it just is very summery. And if I were in the States, I would probably just wear this anywhere. I'd be wearing it to the grocery store, I'd be wearing it on walks and just showing it off. But I'm not in the States right now, I'm in Japan, and Japan is a little bit more conservative, like especially where I am. I live in like Inaka on a small island, so and there's all of my husband's students are here, so I'm not gonna just be wearing this out and about, because the way that people dress is just naturally more conservative here. So I probably could wear it maybe when we go to the mainland and when we go into bigger cities and stuff, and just like maybe like at nighttime when we're going out to a bar or something like that, I could wear it. This is my first time actually doing everything that I've done in this piece. Like, I've never knitted a garment before. And for two, this is my first time making a wearable where I have this kind of like crocheted lace. That was really actually surprisingly easy to make. When I look at this type of stuff, I think that's so complicated, that's gonna be so difficult. Like, my very first reaction is that'll be difficult, because it looks complicated and it looks hard. But I actually, if you've ever been intimidated by like crocheted lace, I think I'm encouraging you, just go ahead and try it, because honestly, I think once you start getting used to the patterns of it and whatnot, it really is okay. You have to do a little bit of math at first, which is like the most frustrating part for me, because you have to count each individual like how long your piece is, so each individual like single crochet or whatever you have on the border, to make sure that it ends in just the right amount. And so when you're doing the lace, that you don't have any like thing cutting off in a weird way. But that's the hardest part of it, and after that it's just following the pattern. I am really loving crocheted lace sort of stuff and lace borders and things like that. I just think that they give everything such a beautiful touch and makes it look even more just designed, and it just gives it a vibe, almost like a fantasy, sort of just Victorian, all of those types of things that I love. It makes it feel that way, and it's not too hard. And so I will definitely be using this crocheted lace book. Wow, here she comes again. I also love how I styled it with my necklace here. My friend made this necklace for me, and it has like a stone in there that actually perfectly matches. I don't know if you can see the color of it, but it really perfectly matches my crocheted piece. And then I have a black skirt to tie it back in. It's kind of almost a little bit witchy. I love it. I don't know how many times have I said that. I don't know. I've said that a lot. I have another big project coming up that I have been designing. I've been working on like what I want it to look like, and pretty soon I'm going to be actually putting that together for you and just showing the process of me making this really cool Gothic Victorian top. And it's going to be something that I want to put everything into it, and I want it to be so special and so beautiful. Obviously, there's still a lot of time left in summer, but after this is going to be Halloween and fall, and so I'll definitely be in the mood to wear something like that. I just think that crochet opens up so many doors to being able to express yourself even more, and to be able to put your creations out there into the world and wear them. I think that's the coolest part, is it's art. In a way, it's art that something that you're creating, but then you can wear it. You can take it and show it off and be expressive like that. And I am just really grateful to crochet and now to knit for allowing me to express that part of myself. I absolutely love it, and I think everyone should try it, absolutely. And so I hope that the things that I am creating can be inspiring to other people and just give a little bit of fun in your day to see somebody else create something and hopefully give you ideas for things you would like to make. Sorry about that tangent, but I also wanted to just quickly mention this scarf that I made. Yeah, I finished this scarf. There's not much to say about it. I think it's super cute. This is all just kind of really affordable acrylic yarn I had in my stash, and I originally was not planning on making this, but I thought if I'm making a granny square scarf, I want it to be a statement. I want it to be super long, so I'm happy with the length of this. It's 12 squares long. It's got these cute pom-poms, and I absolutely will be wearing this in the winter, and I think it'd be so cute just like with a beanie and when you're all bundled up, because self-expression is also very important in the winter, and it can be one of the harder times, I think, for people to do that and to get out there, but winter fashion is a whole other thing. Anyways, if you made it all the way through, thank you so much for being here. If you enjoy this, definitely feel free to subscribe. I am going to be continuing on my journey and continuing making videos about my process and just having so much fun with fashion and with fiber arts. Thanks again for being here, and have a great rest of your day.